Hi there, my name is William, creator of muoniotv. So the first time that I heard about the fish library was when I was making the bus library video. A student with us on the bus was undergoing practical training at the library, and she was telling me all about it and the business of being a librarian, something that I'd never really thought about before. What finally got me to visit the library though was a video suggestion from a follower of muoniotv, a friend of mine's father, who is a keen fisherman, and he was telling me how amazing the library is. The library is set in beautiful surroundings, up on the side of the hill just above the road. It's a lovely wooden structure. A pretty walk up to the library through the forest and nature gives you this calming, relaxing feeling. I can't remember now what I thought the library would be like, but I can definitely remember my amazement when I walked in. This energy really hit me. It was in the exciting, comforting smell of books, knowledge waiting patiently to be absorbed. It was in the Aladdin's cave of a multitude of wonderful items waiting to be discovered. It was in the cozy, natural, warm textures of the wooden structures. It was in the calm, friendly, genuine greeting I got from Eke, the librarian. I felt more than welcome. I felt like I belonged. This place was in some way made for me, and I had just discovered a part of myself. I came to understand that the energy the library exudes comes from the care and dedication and passion of those who created it. Ari Saviko is the man behind this collection, and it represents a 30-year journey. Unfortunately, that story is far beyond the scope of this video, but I just wanted to share at least some of my favourite parts. Ari says a collector is born. He's always been collecting something. First it was stamps, and then later everything related to fishing. Just by looking at pictures of Ari with fish, you can see where his passion to collect comes from. Every item collected has its own story. Stories are a central part of an item's history, important to how they fit into the collection and serve as lovely collector's memories for Ari. In part, the collection is a chronological record of fishing in Finland, with the earliest Finnish publications dating back to 1751 and the earliest publication in the collection dating back to 1730. The collection is also Ari's desire to save and preserve a part of Finnish cultural history for future generations. It exists to help people find themselves, to find their place by understanding and cherishing their culture. A place to cure the soul. In the early days of Ari's collecting, mail order catalogues for antique stores were the main source for finding old books until the internet revolutionized book collection. Also, significant portions of the collection were obtained when Finnish libraries and universities were disposing of their fish literature as a way to free up space. When Ari realized that all his books could no longer fit in his house, he decided, as you do, to build a library. The question of eternity arises when one thinks about a collection's future once the collector dies. Large book collections are difficult to pass on to the next generation if they have no inherent interest in that collection. In a library, however, books are in one place, easier to preserve and easier to pass on to the next generation. The library has become a way of life for Ari, a way to exist. Ari designed the library himself, plans were drawn up by his brother-in-law, and it was built on land owned by his father-in-law. The library was officially opened on the 25th of August 2018, and pictures from the opening can be seen on the library's website, suomenkalakirjasto.fi. Once the collection had been moved into the new library, the publications need to be organised and categorised so that they could be shared with members of the public. Along came Erkki, Eke, Lounasvuori, a man who seemed to have been born for this job. Eke worked as a librarian in the Helsinki Public Library, and in 1994 he worked on a new project to make the library the first in the world to offer public access to the internet. The Bill Gates Foundation got involved, and the project was so successful that visitors came from all over the world to find out about this new internet thing. Eke gave many presentations about the internet and the library, and on one occasion Chinese TV visited, and the resulting TV program was aired to an audience of approximately 200 million. After presenting the library 857 times, Eke had had enough and wanted to get back to more traditional work, working with books in perhaps a more personal, physical way. Eke found Ari was looking for someone to organize his fish collection. For Eke, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Here he was able to combine old skills of working in a traditional library with his experience in working with the internet. After many phone calls with Ari and hours of conversation, Eke beat out the other 60 applicants to get the job. The challenge ahead then was putting 16,000 plus publications in some sort of timeline. As Eke explained, it's not a straight line, it's more like a pig's tail. It twists and turns, sometimes moving back on itself with multiple connections in different places. The first thing to do then was to get down on hands and knees, open up boxes, remove any duplicate publications, and start organizing the pieces. Creating a library database is not about creating a list or just putting books neatly onto a shelf. It's an organic, dynamic process. It's impossible to read each book. So keywords from author's notes, the introduction, an abstract, or even the title are used to define, categorize, and connect different pieces of the collection. Keyword selection is somewhat subjective, so there is some of Eke's personality in the database of this collection, which I think is a wonderful thought. The more Eke got involved with the collection, the more he saw patterns, connections, the frequency of certain keywords, and things became familiar. This familiarization, though, is ongoing. Eke understands that there are so many ways you can express the collection. In this way, the database flows and changes, just like the fish's water environment. The library is so much more than just a building full of fish books. I was surprised to discover that you can even spend the night, but that's another story. In one way, it's a physical form of the personalities of two dedicated, energetic, passionate, and very different men. The library is temporarily closed at the moment, but you can visit it virtually. Creating and maintaining a library is a huge financial undertaking. It's not a commercial entity, and so must rely on the support of organizations and the public. So I really recommend that you visit the Finnish Fish Library because it contains something magical for everyone, fishermen and non-fishermen alike.